Those pastors of those mega churches, they need to be looked at under the biggest, brightest light you can look at. Joel Osteen. The Mattress Max makes a much better, to me, if you want an example of how Christ wanted us to live, it would be Mattress Max and not Joel Osteen.
I don't know who Mattress Max
Well,
is.
during the big floods in Houston just a few years ago, people were literally dying in the street. Mattress Max owned huge furniture stores. Come up here, he opened them up. Sleep on them couches. I don't care, and I'll find a way to make food for you guys. But Joel Osteen wouldn't even let them in the door because they just had the carpets redone at his cathedral church, and he didn't want people tracking shit in there.
He defended not opening Lakewood Church in Houston to Harvey victims. He defended it. It's so obvious. Like, doing something like that is so obvious. You have a private jet. It's so obvious. You have a mansion. It's so obvious. How much is that watch? This is so obvious. What are you doing is so obvious. You have a mansion. It's so obvious. How much is that watch? This is so obvious. What are you doing is so obvious. You have a mansion. It's so obvious. How much is that watch? This is so obvious. What are you doing is so obvious. You have a mansion. It's so obvious. How much is that watch? This is so obvious. What are you doing is so obvious. It's so obvious. How much is that watch? This is so obvious. What are you doing is so obvious. Private jet.
So the mattress guy or the fake selling Jesus guy, who do you think Watchtower most closely resembles? Well, we all know the answer to that, don't we? They're not even embarrassed to flash around to fly around the world, flashing around their ill-gotten gains. It's not even embarrassing to them. They feel justified, fully justified. And what happened during COVID? Well, they were closing themselves, locking themselves in, and just saying, "Hey, fend for yourself." And here I'm looking at the numbers. We look at the numbers. How can they possibly say Jehovah was blessing the congregations and his people when quite clearly a lot more, according to their own numbers, the rate of death amongst Jehovah's Witnesses was much, much higher than the rate of death around the world.
How's the new headquarters project at Ramapo, New York progressing? We're thrilled to inform you that on December 28, 2022, the Town Board of Ramapo approved the zoning for the facility and gave approval for tree removal. This key approval will allow the overall project to move forward. We hope to begin clearing the site as early as January 2023, this month. As the project at Ramapo gains momentum, it reminds us of how we felt the project and the thousands of volunteers who supported it. Soon after we moved in from Brooklyn, Brother Lett read an open letter from the governing body at morning worship. With the Ramapo project now moving forward, let's hear that beautiful letter from 2016.
When we think about this first morning worship from our beautiful new headquarters, the governing body thought it would be appropriate to provide an open letter to thank all who have shared in the hard work that went into this project, how we appreciate it. But permit me, please, to read this open letter from the governing body. Dear brothers, on behalf of the Warwick Bethel family, the governing body would like to express deep appreciation for our lovely new home here at Warwick Bethel. How we love our new residences and offices. The fresh air, quiet environment, and beautiful scenery are already having a beneficial effect on how we feel. We are confident that now, with Jehovah's blessing and help, we will be able to work even harder and accomplish even more in behalf of kingdom interests. Even though we do not deserve such a wonderful place to live and work, we truly appreciate this generous expression of Jehovah's undeserved kindness. 1 Peter 4, 10. We are most grateful to Jehovah for the more than 27,000 different brothers and sisters who volunteered to work on the construction of this project. Many of you, dear friends, took vacation time, paid your own transportation costs, lived in small rooms, and got up very early in the morning to ride buses or shuttles to the work site. Then you worked tirelessly in all kinds of weather, putting your heart into supporting this theocratic building project. Many of you accepted multiple invitations to work here. Unquestionably, Jehovah loves you very much for what you have done. Please be assured that the governing body loves you very much too. To borrow Paul's words to the Thessalonians, you have become so beloved to us. 1 Thessalonians. God's word tells us every one of you could have done better. Additionally, the governing body was Nehemiah 3:9, casting department, the thousands upon thousands. In the book also, the thousands upon thousands. If we fail to thank also, the thousands upon thousands of nation expressed
will be needed for Ramapo.
Of Jehovah's Witnesses.
As was the case for the Warwick Project, thousands of volunteers from the United States will be needed for Ramapo. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
You have a mansion. It's so obvious. How much does that watch? This is so obvious. What are
Yeah.
you doing is so obvious.